of anybody who can't be here. And we are gonna get going. Alrighty. So, alright, so let's get going. So, social media management. Social media is quite fun, I would have to say. In being in marketing for, I don't know, over 10 years, I've had the most fun with social media. It's very, very fast changing, extremely fast paced. So like little things will change in a couple of months. So even, for example, I do monthly reports for some of my clients, and literally within a month, Carrie is asking me if Chloe is my name. Yes, that's actually part of my first name. Yeah. So what was I saying? I Yes, I was doing monthly reports, right? And up to last month, every time you're doing a report for a client, and that's one of the things we'll also be covering over this kind of series of tutorials that we'll be doing, um, is that you have to go to like Facebook and you have to pull their insights. And basically they give you a spreadsheet that looks like this. So it has a whole bunch of numbers on it, and one of my tutorials will focus on how to analyze this kind of data, because you can actually get some good jobs for just being able to report on this kind of data. Okay, so I will be doing a tutorial just on a couple tutorials probably on analysis of social media insights. But the thing is that what I wanted to point out was, you see this row here? Last month, it was completely different. It was different. So they have changed things in 1 month. So if you're not really familiar with that kind of stuff, or you're not really familiar with, what this means or what it meant from before, or you're not somebody who's flexible and willing to kind of learn, then it will throw you off guard, because I actually opened this document in a meeting today. I was completely thrown off guard because I was expecting to see something else, and I was kind of going on the fly. I was just kind of talking about some of the analytics and stuff, and when I saw this, I was like, oh shoot, like where do I go for what? So I will be focusing on a couple of tutorials. I think we'll have to cover analysis and insights, because you can do some jobs on that, right? But I say this to point out that social media moves very, very quickly. It's very fast paced. And if you are interested in something that could be fun, as well as something that will really and truly kind of challenge your creativity, then, and not just creative in the sense of having to design things and that kind of stuff, but being creative in the sense of being willing to try new things, then you could probably look into doing some social media management. So, without further ado, let's go into it. So, choosing your platform. So, in terms of choosing your platform, and I'm going to talk about this in the sense of, let me open this as a present thing, right? So, in terms of choosing your platform, we're talking about this in the sense of, for example, if you want to create a page for your brand. So, I think Carrie's brand, the name of that is like Scarlet VPA. And I know that Tamara was talking to me about a new blog, which was what, Single Mom Doing It. And I know Tina's brand is Sharp Accounting. You see, I'm remembering these things, which means that they stand out in my head, and that's good. So, let's woot woot. I see some woot woot. Yes. So, if you wanted to create a page for your brand, so let's think about it in the sense of, Either you're creating a page for yourself as a brand or you are being hired to do this job, right? You have to ask yourself a few questions. What's the aim of your page, right? For example, that could be that you want more clients, obviously, right? But for example, Tamara's brand, which is not her VPA brand, but her brand for her blog, um, that could be more or less wanting to more probably develop a community, right? So really and truly, you have to think about the aim. What's the aim? You want people to come into a store? Maybe your client wants more people to go to their website. Maybe your client wants more people to buy a product. You have to think about the aim. Oops, sorry. I zoomed out. Okay, the next question is, who are you targeting? Who is the person that you're targeting? So if we think about Sharp Accounting may want to target small business owners. Or maybe Sharp Accounting only wants to target um, mompreneurs, right? So you have to think about who you're targeting. Scarlet VPA, who is your target? Carrie, who is your target? Carrie, are you there? Okay, so while Carrie responds, you have to think about who's your target, okay? And then how often do you plan on posting on your social media page? Okay, no problem. I'm happy Saraya is paying attention. Okay, so yeah, so how often do you plan on posting? How often do you plan on being active on your social media page, right? And then what are your personal skills? Are you good at writing? Are you good at, maybe you found that you're really good at talking to people. Maybe you found that you're really good at creating pieces of content through Pablo Buffer, right? What are your personal skills? What are you good at? Oh, come on. This thing is not cooperating with me. I'm going to have to exit this thing. Hold on. All right. We're going to just use this view. All right. So now we look on platforms, right? So some of the platforms, you have Facebook, right? These are the most popular ones that we're talking about here. Facebook is a really good central hub, right? If you don't have a website, Facebook is the way to go in terms of creating a page for yourself or creating a page for a client, all right? It operates like a website. Also, you have the ability to advertise very easily from Facebook. Instagram is high visual appeal, and it's more intimate. Whereas Facebook has a wider audience, you can really kind of show an intimate perspective to a brand on Instagram because it's really, because of the visuals, you can really get into, okay, here's what my lunch looks like. You can really get very intimate with your followers. Twitter is really about dialogue, and it's very, very good for people when they're looking at trending topics. So trending topics are things like when there was the U.S. presidential debate, and they use like a hashtag to follow a trending topic. Another trending topic could have been, there was a funny story with Bow Wow, the rapper Bow Wow. He did a post on, let's say, Instagram months ago. And in the post, he said, like, he took a picture of a private jet, and he said that he was, like, on his way to LA or New York or somewhere like that with a private jet. Anyway, he posted it on social media, and what ended up happening was, oh, you saw that, Tina? Yes. So what ended up happening was that somebody was on the plane and spotted Bow Wow. Now, this wasn't a private jet. This was like a regular commercial airline. And they snapped a picture of Bow Wow on his phone from behind, like behind them, between the seats or whatever. And then it became a trending topic on Twitter called the Bow Wow Challenge. He got really get catch for real. So it became this trending topic where it was hashtag Bow Wow Challenge, and you had to like make up some kind of crazy thing, like you're in Paris for lunch, and then you take a picture of like a little tiny Eiffel Tower key ring beside you, you know? So Twitter is really good for trending topics as well as dialogue. So some customer service oriented brands do really well on Twitter. Um, and you can look for some of them. I mean, NCB is actually really good on Twitter. Their customer service may not be very good otherwise, but their social media customer service is really good. Snapchat now is useful and it's also very, very intimate. And LinkedIn is business-based, so it's heavily professional networking, okay? Which one am I on? Okay, here we go. So now let's look on the demographics. So LinkedIn, anybody know what the term millennials is? You've all heard about the term millennials? So millennials, yeah? Okay, good. So but I'm going to talk about millennials, so don't worry. Millennials is basically the term given for people who are born between the years 1977 to, I believe, 1982 or 83. So it's looking at people, or it's younger. It's mostly younger. It goes to younger, I believe. But it's looking at people between, like in their 30s to like early 40s. Well, 40 would be like 77 this year. So people in their 30s to like mid 25s, right? And millennials have a certain type of behavior. So millennials tend to be very versed with social media. Millennials also grew up with technology, and they grew up alongside technology. So for example, many of us will remember when the iPod came out, or when people started listening to CDs versus cassettes, or actually started listening only to MP3s versus CDs. Millennials have a certain type of behavior, which kind of goes along with the time period in which they're born. So millennials also may not necessarily look towards getting a mortgage, but millennials tend to rent places for longer periods of time versus the older generation, which was always to go and buy a house. Like one of their main goals was always to own a house. So a lot of the times now companies are now trying to find a way to identify with millennials. So with that said, LinkedIn, their demographic is millennials, but a lot of older people are also on millennials. So you have the business owners. So the millennials who work for the business owners, a lot of those business owners are also on LinkedIn, okay? Then you have Snapchat, which is most popular with millennials and younger. And I would actually venture to say that it's a lot more of the younger generation on Snapchat than it is with millennials, okay? Instagram is heavily focused on millennials. And Twitter varies with millennials and older. If you talk to like the younger generation, like you talk to people under the age of 20, they may actually not be even on Twitter, okay? And then Facebook is for millennials and older. And one of the things with Facebook is that people tend to go to Facebook for the news. I honestly don't know when last I took up a newspaper, an actual hard copy newspaper, to read anything out of it. And even so, me personally, I don't necessarily go to the Gleaner's website to read news either. I look through my news feed and I watch the news on TV. But I don't necessarily pick up the paper. So a lot of people use Facebook as a medium for news as well as keeping in touch with friends and family, right, to know what is happening. So Facebook is very popular with millennials and older. The younger, like the kids are not really on Facebook. The kids are on Snapchat. Twitter is very much focused on millennials as well as older people as well. And then Instagram is pretty much all millennials. and Snapchat is like the kids as well as some millennials. Okay? Which one are we on? 5. Here we go. So where do you want to be? Okay? So this is in terms of the sense of where do you want to be, you as a brand versus you managing a brand. Do not just join a social media platform because it exists. Okay? Some people want to go and say, okay, I'm going to start a Facebook page, and an Instagram account, and a Twitter, and some big brands do this as well. I have to get on Snapchat. No, you don't. You don't have to. Especially when you take all these things that we're talking about into consideration, right? Now, the next thing is to understand that things change rapidly in social media. How many of you are familiar with the story about Snapchat and Mark Zuckerberg? Anybody heard about the drama that happened with them? Okay, so I'm seeing no's. I'm seeing some buying out story. Yes. So I'm going to tell you the story, right? So I can't remember the dude's name who owns Snapchat. But when Snapchat came on the scene, it was amazing. Reason being, it was amazing because there were so many people going to Snapchat. One, for illicit purposes because the messages disappear in 24 hours. And two, because there was nothing else on the market like it, right? So lots of people are using Snapchat for the novelty. Now, Zuckerberg, Facebook, owns a lot of platforms. Facebook owns WhatsApp. They bought Instagram, so they own Instagram, and they own something else. I can't remember. But in any case, Facebook went to the Snapchat dude and said, hey, I want to buy Snapchat from you. So he offered the Snapchat person, I don't know how much $1 million. Like it was over $100 million. I can't remember. We can't even Google it. The Snapchat person said, no, I'm not selling it. So Zuckerberg says, okay, give him a little time. And then he goes back to the Snapchat guy. And I think this time he offered him like $3 billion. It was more than a billion. I'm billion with a billion. So he offered him like however many $billion, right? I think it was around 3 billion. It sounds like an episode of Suits. And the Snapchat dude said, no, I'm not selling. So what did Mark Zuckerberg do? Literally within a couple of months, he created Instagram stories. And then he created WhatsApp statuses. And then he created Facebook stories or whatever it's called. And now Snapchat is to some degree struggling, right? So Snapchat will continue to be successful to some degree right now because of who is on Snapchat, being the kids. But in terms of people using Instagram stories and people using Facebook status or whatever it is and WhatsApp statuses, essentially what Mark Zuckerberg did was that he wanted to kill Snapchat because of Snapchat not being willing to take the deal, right? And that showed you that literally, novelty soon wear off. It literally shows you how quickly things can change because within a couple of, I don't know, it was like weeks to months, you had a rapid change happening in the industry as well as on the platform, right? So people who were so annoyed by Instagram stories started using Instagram stories, and then brands started using it. I remember I was really, really proud because when Instagram stories came out, I got my brand to the first brand story in Jamaica, and that was Red Stripe. And I was so proud of it. First alcohol brand to do an Instagram story in Jamaica. And it was a proud moment, right? So the thing is that things are going to change rapidly in social media. And I say this also to point out that Twitter is changing. I think that there's something, and this is based on me having my head, what they call it, ear to the tracks or whatever that term is. I believe that something is going to happen soon with Twitter, like somebody's going to buy it out soon. So that platform more than likely may change considerably in short order. So I wouldn't put my eggs, like even in talking to clients now, I recommend to them that they stay away from Twitter because we don't know what it's going to be soon. So that brings me to content strategy. So based on all of these things that we're talking about here, right, we have to consider, what is the best platform? What's the best platform choice for you? What's the best platform choice for your clients? Okay. Whoops, I jumped too far. Just want to make sure I was on the right track. Right. So you want to decide on the best type of content. No. So when we talk about content, we're talking about all of those things that are on your feed. So how many of you follow BuzzFeed? Any of you follow BuzzFeed? You familiar with BuzzFeed? No? You think you do? I'm sure you've seen like BuzzFeed videos or you've taken a BuzzFeed quiz. How many of you are familiar with the Tasty videos? The Tasty recipe recipe videos. Cool. So those are pieces of content. You don't follow BuzzFeed. Okay. So those are pieces of content. So Tasty does a lot of recipe videos, right? BuzzFeed does quizzes. And BuzzFeed also does articles and so forth, right? CNN offers content. CNN does articles and videos, right? So let's watch a quick video. Oops. Boop, boop, boop. This one. Here we go.
There are 4 different types of content that can be created for use on social media. Firstly, written form. For example, blogs, white papers, guides, checklists, reports, presentations, ebooks and books. Second, visual. Product imagery, team photography and infographics. Visuals are so important in creating engagement with your audience. You could look up CC Chapman's course on content marketing with photos for more on this. And then audio and video. For example, event coverage, demonstrations and interviews, webinars and podcasts. CC Chapman has a great course on podcasts and audio. Then interactive content. That's quizzes, calculators, polls, games and competitions. Your social media updates could include any of these format types, depending on the platform. They could also be used in combination. For example, Instagram updates will be visual, supported by a short descriptor and hashtags. A LinkedIn status update may be a link with a comment to add some context as to why you're sharing the information. In the early stages of the buying decision process, an infographic or video might be more appropriate to the information gathering needs of your target audience. In the later stages, longer form written content, that's your white papers and ebooks, are most likely to be read because a greater depth of information is required. Content could be either user-focused, for example, customer testimonials, endorsements, reviews and ratings, or product-focused, how-to guides, fact sheets, checklists, FAQs, etc. What type of content can you create for your business?
Okay, hold on.
There are 4 key... What is content marketing? According to the Content Marketing Institute, content marketing is a strategic marketing approach of creating and distributing valuable, relevant and consistent content to attract and retain a clearly defined audience with the objective of driving profitable customer action. Let's break that down. By content, we simply mean words and images. Words that may be written or spoken, images that may be still or moving. Content marketing may seem like something new, but it has of course been around for many, many years. The term content marketing refers to the packaging up of those words and images into a useful format that can be used to attract new business. It will attract new business if it's relevant to a potential customer who is seeking information about your product or service. A potential customer looking to buy will be doing their own research. They will be asking friends and family for referrals. They will be asking colleagues and peers for recommendations. They will be over 60% of the way through their decision-making process before contacting your business. This is why content is so important. Your prospects will find and consume your content before they speak to you directly. And the reason why it's strategic? Well, it can only be successful if it is fully aligned with your marketing strategy. The creation and distribution of the content is tactical, but the reason to produce a piece of content must be strategic. It must have clear focus on business objectives. And every piece of content you produce must have a clear thread running through it. That thread is your brand essence, and it ensures consistency in the mind of your audience. The CMI summarises the concept like this. Basically, content marketing is the art of communicating with your customers and prospects without selling. It is non-interruption marketing. Instead of pitching your products or services, you are delivering information that makes your buyer more intelligent. If we as businesses deliver consistent, ongoing valuable information to buyers, they ultimately reward us with their business and loyalty.
Okay.
Before I share...
Okay. So, with that said, we are going to do an exercise together. So, can I have a brand, guys? Can somebody suggest a brand to me? I'm just writing something down. I'm coming. Yeah. All right, let's see what the suggestions are. All right, I see Ray and Nephew. So Shana K recommended Ray and Nephew. I like that. Which Ray and Nephew? The white rum. I'm seeing lots of different recommendations now. All right, let's see who else is in here. So Sharika is here. Hi, Sharika. Who else joined us? I see Johnson. What did I just click? Whoops. I did not mean to click that. Let's move that away. Okay. All right. So the first suggestion that came in was Ray and Nephew. Hold on 1 second. I have to get in something. Stay with work, guys. All right. So we have to figure out your target audience, okay? So let's think about Ray and Nephew. Actually, you know what? Let's zone in. Let's make it more. I think Tamara had mentioned her what do you call it? Her brand. Boop boop boop. Let's do single mom doing it. Hang on, I'm just scrolling through some stuff. Okay, so we're gonna work on single mom doing it. Boop boop. Okay, so Tamara, tell us about your brand in a few words. Type it out and I will share. I mean, single mom doing it kind of speaks for itself. For you guys on the call, is there anything else that you need to know? Anything else that kind of you need more specific kind of directions on? I mean, no? Okay. Is everybody awake? Y'all awake? Let me see coffee. Type coffee if you're awake. Okay. All right. Tina says she's awake. Okay. So the brand name is Single Mom Doing It. So essentially it's gonna be a blog. It's targeting single mothers, and it's basically trying to create a sense of camaraderie as well as empowering single moms. Am I right, Tamara? Okay, so to motivate and point them in the direction of, I don't know, empowerment, drive, self-improvement. I think I'm on the right track. Okay. So with that said, with that little bit said, let's look on this. So let's work on the target audience. So is our target audience male, female, or both? What are your thoughts? Obviously, we have females involved, right? But, you know, what are your thoughts? Anything more? I'm going to say that we have females, but maybe, oh, come on, why are you letting me do this? Oh, are you serious? Hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me make a copy of this. I thought I was in the right drive. Close that one. I'm in the right one now. I should be able to edit it. Okay, so we have a female audience, but you don't think that maybe some men should actually kind of be made aware of like the struggles of a single mother? Yes. So largely, if we had to like work out a percentage, how many you think percentage-wise, what would it be the percentage of content or the target audience that we're focusing on? Could it probably be 70%, 75% women? You think that's reasonable? Yes. Okay. And then we have about, what, 25? That works out to 25% men? I think, was it Carrie that said it's going to be more? More what? It's going to be more what? More women than 75. Okay, now here's the thing. It's going to be more women on social media. One reason primarily being that, just generally speaking, there are actually more women who are active on social media. Okay? So you're always going to have more women interacting on pages, always. And you will find also that there are more women who will gravitate towards the page for single mom doing it. However, in developing a content strategy and figuring out a tone of voice for the brand of single mom doing it, we also need to think about the brand ethos, the brand essence that was spoken about in that last video. What do we want to communicate? Yes, we want to empower single moms, but at the same time, one of the concerns of a single mom are their former partners or their current partners or their hopeful partners. So the fact of the matter is we still have to develop some amount of content that is geared towards that aim, right? So if we're thinking about breaking up our content, then we have to gear our content towards 75% mostly towards women and about 25% towards men. Okay? We're on the same page? Everybody cool with that? Okay. So let's move on. Whoops. It's there. Okay. So what is the age of our target audience? What kind of age group we're looking at? What kind of age group we're looking at? So I see 25 and up. I'm seeing 18 to 45. Okay, why so young though? I mean, yes, you're always gonna have young moms, but why 18 to 45? This is actually coming from Tamara. Tell me what your what rational is for such a young crowd as well. I'll wait for Tamara to give us a little bit more info. So I'm going to talk a little bit while we get some more. So I'm seeing some of you saying like millennials, 30 and over, 25 and up. No, it depends on what the aim is for this blog, right? And the thing is, what Tamara is saying is that she sees where a lot of younger moms would need direction in terms of how to manage life with a baby. Okay, so I get that. So the thing is, you can always look at your target being a certain age group and having younger people joining, or even older people joining into that, into your audience. Because I actually came across one of my clients has their brand guide. They look on not just target ages, but they also look at target, what do you call it? Target behaviors. Okay? So, Tina makes a very good point here that if it's a blog, not many people who are younger than 20 will necessarily read a blog. That's true. The younger generation isn't necessarily going to read unless they can identify with what is there, or it's the content that they're getting is delivered in a very short, visually appealing kind of thing. It has to be like a Snapchat filter. I'm sorry. It's horrible of me. Yeah. So it has to be very, very short and to the point, okay? So if we're going to break it down, then we'd have to look on the different types of content that could look at the younger generation and so forth, okay? So let's break it down then. So we have, why is this not typing? Come on. Okay, so single mom, single young mom, okay? Maybe she's on her first job. So I just kind of putting in a few different things, okay? And then we have a single mom, potentially separated on her second/third job, meaning that she's been employed to different organizations. So this also shows a certain type of maturity level, don't you think? If you're on your first job, then maybe you have a different kind of way of thinking than you would have if you're on your second or third round of employment, don't it? Yeah, yeah. So these are the things that you have to break it down when you're thinking about who you want to talk to. And then you have the single mom. I'm going to write single divorced mom. And her kids are in high school or college. No. Sharika is asking if she can see the other people's conversations. No, I am seeing everybody's conversation, but you guys won't see everybody else's. Okay, but you can keep typing and I'll see it. Okay. I can't bother to fix this right now. I'll come back and fix it. All right, so what's the marital status of our target? This kind of speaks for itself. Single, maybe separated, divorced. That's not spelled right. We can even talk about widowed. The blog only pertaining to older kids, widowed, because single moms may have younger children in prep school or so. Right, so here's the reason. So Tina is asking if the blog is pertaining to older kids. Now the reason why I had put high school or college is because we're looking on the different age groups. Because remember we were talking about age originally? So the single young mom, chances are she has her first job. Maybe she has a baby. Okay, I didn't put in all of the different stuff. Then you have a single mom, potentially separated. So maybe she was in a long-term relationship and she's at the age group where she's had maybe 2 or 3 different jobs, you know? She's been employed to 2 or 3 different organizations, at least. And then you have the more mature single mom. She's probably been divorced. And the thing is that her kids are in high school. They're based on her age, her kids may be in high school or college. So you're looking at a wide range of people, right? Their commonality would be that they are single. Cool? Good. So in terms of the status, we're talking about women who are single, they're separated, they're divorced, or they're widowed. Okay? Now, obviously, yes, the target has kids. What does our target do for a living? Typically, what are our single moms doing for a living? So the thing is that based on the different brands that you're doing, this exercise could have a variety of different responses, right? For example, if we're doing Wray and Nephew, the response here, if we're doing white rum for Wray and Nephew, the response here could be something like um, target the living. What they define living? It could be anything from mechanic to being a corporate CEO, right? For white overproof rum. However, before white overproof rum actually took off again, I was removed from being a commodity to actually being a drink that everybody or anybody would try. Really and truly, the demographic was a lot more, it was a lot different. Would any of you agree with me based on how the marketing strategy changed for Wray and Nephew years ago? Yes. Yeah. So the marketing strategy changed dramatically for Wray and Nephew years ago when they started the Show Me the Ray campaign. Okay? So our demographic, what our demographic would be doing for a living can vary. All right? And we can have single moms who are being, let's see, we can have lawyers, we can have students, like moms who are actually still in school, we can have executives, I always have to do that, business executives, we can have teachers, whoops, customer care reps. All right, now what you will find is that, okay, let's look at the target's income. So our target here, she could be making a good amount of money, but depending on her situation, she's strapped for cash because she's a single mom, because she has to pour a lot of her income into being maybe the sole breadwinner of our household, okay? So, I mean, we can break it down and we can say maybe she's, and I'm going to put terms into Jamaican dollars, right? She could be earning anywhere from, let's put it as around $100,000 to $300,000. And this would vary based on her age, her experience, her, all of those things. Okay. So what does your target like to watch on TV? I'm just going to drop some things in. You guys make some suggestions too. So she likes to watch Scandal. Maybe she likes to watch Suits, Law and Order. Any other suggestions, guys? Comedies. Modern Family. Yes, let's put in Modern Family. Blackish. All right. So we're seeing some suggestions here. Cool. All right. So what does our target audience like to read? I think she likes to read kind of self-improvement stuff. She's always kind of striving towards, doing something for herself. What else does she like to read? Novels? Does she have time to read novels? Autobiographies. I like that. Autobiography. She don't have time to read, but if she could, she'd be reading these things. Oh, that's brilliant, Shannon. She's into audiobooks. Maybe because she can at least listen to them on her way to work. I need to look into audiobooks. God, no. That's, yeah. Okay, what does she dream of? What are some of the things that she dreams of? Hmm. Boop, 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 boop. A career, okay. So she dreams of career goals. My volume dropped significantly. You guys can still hear me? Improving lifestyle, financial stability. Okay. All right. So let's name her. Can we name her? Let's give her a name. Let me open this up. What y'all say? Shanna saying I should back up. Why I must back up? What happened? What you mean? As in what she dreams about? Oh, the sound is back up. Okay, awesome. Okay. Um okay, so let's name her. We're gonna name her now. Let's give her a name. What should her name be? Shanna is saying Shanna. Felicity. Wow. Why Felicity? Sounds very white girl. Nothing wrong with white girls, I'm just saying. Play on your name. Felicia. Bye, Felicia. Oh. Okay, let us name her something very, very neutral. I'm seeing Paige as a suggestion. Felicia as a suggestion. Let's call her Samir. Samir is a very kind of boy name. Samira is a more female name. Now, also when you're thinking about names, Josephine, my girl, she is not 40. She's not like 52. Okay, no, you're going too far. You're going too far. Esmeralda, come on now. No. Okay, I'm going to choose a name. All right? I'm choosing a name. No problem, Carrie. I'm recording it, so don't worry. Let's name her. Well, we have to think about the demographic, right? Okay. So depending on where she's from, even her neighborhood, that can denote what her name may be. So let's just be very neutral and call her Kelly. Can we go with just Kelly? Is that okay? All right. So let's call her Kelly. All right. So, go Esmeralda. Okay. So the strategy now. So the key thing is to now ask yourself, how does your brand connect to the target? Okay? Is there a problem that your brand can solve for your targets? Or is your brand trying to help your target better a situation? So kind of, which one would it be? Definitely and truly, really and truly, the brand definitely wants to help make her situation better by empowering her, right? The problem that the brand can solve, that might be a trickier situation, but really and truly what we want to do is to empower her. Make her situation better by making her feel more empowered to conquer whatever her situation is. Okay. So what is a trigger event for your target? So now a trigger event is something that makes your audience want to connect with your brand, or something that really throws this person off That is why she needs that empowerment. Okay? So it could be something like realizing that one, she's now single and having to now do it on her own. That could be obviously a trigger event, right? Likewise, it could be that, oh, a good trigger event, Katania is making something. This is even more complex. Maybe her company is now downsizing and she's in fear of losing her job. And now she needs to feel empowered to, one, start going out and checking out new job opportunities, or maybe even starting her own business, right? You have to think about the trigger event, okay? So this is very, very dynamic. This could be anything. It could be as simple as the fact that, well, she's now on her own and she now has to do things on her own. Okay? How about, let's make it even more specific and say her former partner lost his job and now she is left with the majority of her bills of expenses to manage. All right, so if she was getting help from before, she doesn't have any help coming in. She's uncertain. She's scared. She's pissed. Oh, Tamara is making a good suggestion here. A trigger event could be Mother's Day, when and while other moms are being heralded by their spouses, she has no one to laud her struggles. Wow, that's a great trigger event. Okay, so I'm going to put in here as well, Mother's Day. Okay. All right. So now with that said, let me move this thingy. I don't think you guys can see this thing, but I have to move it out of the way. All right, so now let's develop our brand persona. All right, so these kind of things here, this kind of, whereas we were talking about our target audience now we're talking about the brand. So our brand is going to be female. I'm not going to type all this in. Our age range for the brand is going to probably be maybe somebody, a 30-year-old. That way you're kind of in the middle. Let's say 33. Kind of in the middle, so you can still kind of identify with the younger generation, but you can also identify and have an aspiration towards the older female who is established in her job, but she also happens to be single, okay? So let's put 33. Marital status, single, but can we say she's dating? And the reason why I'm saying she's single and dating is because it also shows a difference in terms of her journey of being a single mom. So whereas before, a single mom now having to do it on her own, she doesn't really necessarily have the time to maybe focus on meeting new people and so forth. She's struggling with her bills. She doesn't have the time for waste. She don't have any money to waste. She's really just focused on her end results or trying to get income in, taking care of her kids, and her kids are probably younger. Whereas a single mom who is maybe a little bit more mature, who has a certain job, maybe is a little bit more comfortable where her income is. She is now probably a little bit more flexible, maybe a little bit more open to meeting people, maybe in terms of her own personal outlook in terms of how she has overcome whatever issues she may have had with her previous relationship. No, she's more open. Okay, so let's let this person be single and dating. Okay, and then now the income. This job, we have to kind of give our identity towards the brand. So we can say maybe that this mom, this single mom, she could be earning 200,000 Jamaican per month. And her job could be a corporate executive, corporate executive/manager. The reason being also is because you want her to speak from a kind of position of authority, okay? So she's kind of comfortable financially. Maybe she obviously wants more money, but you know she's okay. She could be okay, right? And then we can kind of still keep these what do you call it? The TV shows that she likes as being what we had spoken about before. But now what does she research online? She kind of looks at maybe quick recipes, healthy recipes. What else does she research online? DIY for the kids. I like that. Maybe a little DIY for herself, like home decor stuff. What else does she do? Cheap activities, self-improvement. Anything else? How come Catania so quiet? Shadow. Tina. TED Talks. Catania listening. Okay. So these are the kind of things she's looking online, okay? What does our brand like to do in her spare time? Oh, hair videos. Oh, makeup tutorials. Why not? Makeup and hair tutorials. She want to look good. She don't have much spare time. She really doesn't. But maybe her kid is a little older. Maybe her kid is now doing a lot of extracurricular activities. So maybe she has a little bit of time. Just a toops of time. Maybe she has an hour to herself a week. Let's just allot her an hour at least. What does she do in her spare time? It could be exercise. I like that. Catania says that maybe what she does on her spare time is catching up on Facebook. I like that. And spare time could also be at like 12 midnight when she's sitting on the toilet in the evening, you know. I don't know. Catching up on FB, yoga. Maybe she manages to go to the gym sometimes. She likes to read. Okay. And maybe that reading could be something as simple as reading a set of recipes. Okay. Oh gosh. Shannon says she can't imagine using her spare time to go to the gym. Yes, cooking ideas in a rush. I actually put it up here for quick recipes. Okay. So now what are aspirations of the brand? So these aspirations could be things like maybe getting another college degree, you know? Maybe the aspiration could be something as literal as getting another college degree, or it could be something like financial stability, you know? Maybe the aspiration could be um, hmm, saving. Let's put upgrading a car, upgrading car. She don't necessarily want to go and buy a house. Maybe she wants to, but maybe her immediate aspiration could be something like upgrading her vehicle. She wants to probably empower other mummies. Maybe Tamara is saying that she probably could have had she's developed over a certain amount of time some great tips on how to you know, entertain her kids without breaking the bank. So maybe she wants to give tips. She wants to probably start a charity, Sharika is suggesting. I like that. Career change, higher education. I'm going to put that in here. Okay. Where does our brand see herself in 5 years? So remember, she's 33. She could have a child in like, I don't know, primary school level. So at this point, she probably has a child in high school. In 5 years, she'll be like 38. So in 5 years, where does she want to see herself? Maybe she could have a promotion / new career. Maybe she wants to, and with that, she'd have more income, so she's not really struggling financially. More income. Okay, Tamara says no longer single. But here's the thing, and I mean, this also speaks to her journey in terms of her emotional journey as well, you know, not being locked off. So we're going to talk about that in a second. Okay, so we already have a name for the brand, which is Single Mom Doing It. Okay, but we can also create a name for the brand in the sense of what we like to refer to it as. So I can tell you a not so secret. Whenever we spoke about Red Stripe, we always spoke about Red Stripe as in the brown bottle, that big nice stubby bottle. We spoke about it as being the boss. So that was the internal name for it, boss. And when we had done a similar exercise to this, we called the Red Stripe Fred. Was it Fred? No, it was Donovan. And we had done a full exercise like this, and we came up with the income and the career and all of that, and we called him Donovan. It does look like a Donovan, yes. So the reason why we talk about this is to talk about, let me just see something here, jump over here for a second. I need to minimize this, and now when we talk about understanding your brand's tone of voice, understanding your brand's audience and your targets, you have to think about your goal. You always have to keep your goal in mind, right? So when we jump back over to this, the goal of the brand is for new career or a promotion, more income, and no longer single. We may joke about this, but I mean, this is a goal. We're empowering other mothers, other women to feel empowered about their situation, upgrading their lives, feeling less burdened by their circumstances and more empowered to do something for themselves, to do something about it, to show them tips and tricks of how to, you know, do it as a single mom, right? So with that said, we have to think about content that is going to promote this kind of brand ethos, this brand essence, right? And as that video had mentioned that we had watched, we want to make our consumers more intelligent. Oops. We want to make them more intelligent. We want to empower them. We want to give them knowledge. And that is content marketing. You don't want to just tell them, okay, follow my page for cool pictures. No. You want to empower people. You have to give them some amount of knowledge, right? So with that said, now, what are some of the things, we're going to kind of wrap up now, right? But what are some of the things, the types of content that we could create for Single Mom Doing It? What is empowering? What is something that would offer our target audience that we're talking about? What was her name? Kelly. How can we empower Kelly? What pieces of content can we create for Kelly? What would give her more knowledge. School online. Okay, so giving her different tips on how to get to training. So since you brought this up, Katanya, I'm going to point out something. So in terms of my brand strategy, I want to empower as well as, I mean, you guys know that I need to get people to buy into the concept of having a virtual assistant, right? And I have a twofold strategy, right? Because for my brand strategy, I want to be able to empower people to become virtual assistants. But in doing so, I want to know that I have a good pool of people that when I start marketing the business like proper, like going out and marketing, that there are people I can count on to get the job done. So I'm empowering other people, but I'm also helping persons who are struggling to better their situation, right? So in terms of being able to empower people, I can tell you that you see this site here, lynda.com. Don't bother going and sign up for it. Lynda also has a bunch of courses. Remember I spoke to you guys about doing courses like on Coursera and EDX and so forth? Don't sign up for Lynda. And the reason why I'm telling you not to is because you guys being part of Business Chic, I'm going to give you access to my account. Okay? And you guys will be able to go in here and you can do courses. All right? So it's just going to end up being a bonus for you to search through here and find cool courses to do on your own, because Lynda is actually a paid platform, right? So that's how I am trying to empower, right? What's the saying? Something like, I can't remember the saying. The thing is that you want to offer value. You want to keep people feeling inspired, right? So that's one of the reasons also I am doing tutorials, right? Because you guys need to still feel like you're going, and you're gonna feel like you're losing traction when you're not getting clients and so forth. But really and truly, in talking to one of you guys recently, I asked, okay, so have you ever sent out a proposal on either Fiverr or Upwork to see if you can get a job? And the person said no. So I'm like, okay, so if you're not looking for the work, then you're just kind of expecting it to come to you. But it takes a lot of effort as well. And if you can go out there and you can get one person to jump in and buy a service from you, then that's one positive review, right? And then more will come. So you really and truly also have to take that first step yourself, right? And I had given a little assignment to her, and I said, well, by the end of this night, I need to know that you have put out at least 3 proposals for work. I don't know if she did. She's on this call. I don't know if she did. But the fact of the matter is you guys have to also put in a little bit of effort on your end as well. Don't expect that the work is just going to come, So with that said, I don't know if Tamara had missed what I had just mentioned. This website here, lynda.com, I'm going to give you guys access to my my membership, right? It's a Business Chic membership. You see it says Island here, so it's Island Mom. But I'm going to give you guys access that you guys can go in here and look at courses and do them yourself, okay? So when we spoke about, what am I doing? We're looking on the aspirations of our brand, and we jump back over to the goal of our brand, right? We have to think about the content strategy of the brand now, right? And that content strategy, keeping in mind that we're talking to 75% women, 25% men, we're thinking about giving tips and tricks on how to save money, right? We're giving, what else? We're giving suggestions on quick recipes, because these are the concerns of our target audience. We're giving suggestions on where she can go and get courses. Maybe single mom doing it can give courses herself in terms of giving courses on how to save, getting financial lecturers to come in, like get a guest speaker to come in once a month and give a free a free consultation on saving, you know? So these are things that can be potential pieces of content that won't only just focus on getting people to follow a blog or follow a page, but getting people to actually be part of a community on a page, offering value. You always want to offer value, right? So I'm going to jump back over to Linda, and I am going to show you one more video, and then we're going to wrap up. Here, this one.
There are 4 key ways to distribute content via social media. Traditionally, marketers only had to worry about paid and earned media, but with social media came the opportunity for owned and shared media. Let's take a look. Paid media is what we know of as advertising, traditionally spaced in a newspaper or magazine, on radio, television, etc. Today, businesses spend more money online, either with Google, Bing, social media platforms themselves, or with third parties who will distribute content on your behalf. LinkedIn sponsored content, Twitter cards and Facebook ads are all examples of paid media. Earned media or free media refers to publicity gained through promotional efforts other than paid media. It's what we might know as media relations. Traditionally, this is about PR and journalists, but today can include online influencers, bloggers and vloggers. It can take some effort to identify and engage with influencers, but it's most definitely worth it when you get those independent endorsements for your business. Owned media, it's your own content hosted on your own platform, for example your website. This is arguably the most important of all media, as it's within your control. Don't forget that driving traffic to your website is likely to be a key objective for your social media activity. And shared media, well, that refers to the shares you get from others on the various social media platforms. It could be LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google+, or any other more niche platform. Shared media is all about networks and starting conversations. It's the social in social media. Here's some questions to ask. Do you have budget to improve these paid content distribution methods in your marketing plan? Do you have contacts to help you push your content out there? More importantly, are you focusing on your own platforms and creating content that's shareable?
Okay.
If you want to be
sorry, I fell. Well, okay. So, we will talk more about content strategy in our next tutorial. And I think I'm going to schedule that next tutorial for, hold on, let me look at my calendar. Today is the 5th. So the next tutorial is going to be the 19th, okay? And what we're going to talk about then is more along the lines of content strategy, right? And then we'll kind of talk about that whole paid aspect and so forth. I hope that this has kind of inspired you guys. I hope that it has maybe provoked you guys to think about social media. And one of the other things I should mention is that one of the things I'll be pushing for Business Chic, apart from the virtual assistant services, is social media management. So to have you guys be knowledgeable in this area is also a benefit to me too, because in terms of getting more clients on board, I'm going to need more people that I can rely on to help do the job. And that means more business for you as well. So really and truly, if I've inspired any of you guys to kind of maybe think about going into social media, I hope so. And I hope that if you feel like maybe this is not for you, then I hope that you at least give it a chance. You know, you never know. you may end up liking it. So at this time, are there any questions that you guys may have? Any questions, guys? How did you feel about tonight? It was good? Awesome. Learned some stuff tonight? Yes, tomorrow I will send it to you. You interested in the analysis aspect of social media? Sure, no problem. It helps though to have this basis, right? So don't skip out on my tutorials, Tina. It's a lot to absorb, yes. It's getting you motivated. Marketing that how feasible. Hold on, Shana is asking a question. What is Shana asking? You can message me, Shana. If you want, you can ping me in Basecamp and we can talk. No problem, Sharika. I have been recording, so you can pick up the video and watch it. I'm going to actually post it in the Facebook group. It's not going to be posted to Basecamp. Not a social media butterfly. You just need to know how it works. That's fine. That social media butterfly is actually one of my handles on Instagram, and it's my personal brand page on Facebook as well. So I have Island Mom, and then there's Business Chic, and then I have Social Media Butterfly. I think it's social.media.butterfly. I think, or it's your Social Media Butterfly. That's the one. So the thing is, you don't have to be a social media butterfly, but it's a potential for you to earn income on like Fiverr in terms of like your training and stuff. So it's good to know how it works because you never know. I mean, like Otina is mentioning that she kind of is more interested in the analytics. It gives you an option to kind of branch out and offer a service in it. That's not the problem. So here's also one thing that I'm researching, and I'll give you guys an insight. I'm just going to stop the recording, and then I'll just talk to you.